I have found myself in desperate need of some creek time, so my buddies and I are going to go up the creek and see what we can find. Didn't get too far before I found a wild medicinal. This is really kind of a poor specimen. It's not, doesn't have a real big flower head. These things get humongous. It's called gravel root or Jewelweed, J-O-E-P-Y-E. The root is really good for like kidney stones, gallstones, bladder stones, any kind of stone like that. And it's very distinguishable, you know, by these kind of pinkish flowers. Sometimes they're shaped like a kind of an umbrella, and sometimes they're a little bit flatter. But these things can get ginormous. I mean, they'll get 8, 10, even, I think I've seen some that looked to me like they were even 12 feet tall. Right here, and it's kind of on its way out, is the stinging nettle plant. In the summertime it's more of a bright green, like this one right here is a little bit less, you know, yellowed out. The stinging nettle, the leaves of this are one of the most nutritious foods you can find, not just in the wild but in the world. They do sting, you know, it's not bad. But if you go down to the base and cut it, you can carry it out of the woods by the base, and it won't sting you if you let it wilt just a few hours or so. Then it won't sting anymore. This is a very useful plant. It's good for all kinds of allergies and stuff, and very high in vitamins and minerals. And the skin of the stalk makes one of the best and strongest cordages you can find. If I have time sometime, I'll make a video on that too. Right here among this stinging nettle is a small sample of what some people call touch-me-not. It's actually jewelweed. And the jewelweed it develops these little pods. That's why they call them touch-me-nots, because when they're mature, as soon as you touch them, they just explode. The seeds go everywhere. But the seeds in those seed pod, my husband thinks they taste like flaxseed. Some people think they taste a little like walnut, but they're very nutritious, very edible. Here's one here. It's not quite mature yet. These are very small plants. We have them here that the whole entire roadsides and banks are covered by them. But very useful plant. It's good. It's an antidote for poison ivy. Right here is something that I've been trying to identify here for about a week. I haven't had a lot of time to research it, but I really don't know what this is. So if any of y'all know what this is, and the stem is kind of tough and has a little length to it, and they grow in patches. If I find out what it is before I make the video, I'll let you know, or before I edit this. But I don't know what this is. I'd like to know. So we have this blue shale clay here on our farm. It's very medicinal and very, very useful. You can make stuff out of it. You can use it for poultices. You can do something I'm going to show you here in just a minute what Kaylin and I did with it. And by the way, this little Mora knife is my favorite. I use it every day. In my opinion, putting your knife in your pocket or on your side should be part of getting dressed in the morning. But anyway, this blue clay is really useful. It does have some brown clay in it, which probably is iron. I'm not sure, but you can see we've got a couple of areas here where water is is coming out. But over here, Kaylin Kaylin and I were kind of piddling around the other day out here, and I had a little piece of pipe that I stuck in my pocket, and we came and stuck it in the hole of one of the springs. Sorry for the messy footage here, but what we did is we just took some of this clay and molded it and sealed off the hole where the spring was coming out so nothing else could get in there. I doubt this is ever going to dry, and it's really not properly headed up or sealed or anything. We were just sort of playing, but it just shows you, you know, what you can do. Just that little bit of water right there would be more than enough to run a household, including irrigating a garden, because that's 24/7 right there, that little bit of water. It's not quite, well, maybe half the size of my pinky, but that's plenty. That would fill up a huge tank in a day. And this is very clean water. I drink it right from there, right from the spring. It's delicious. Right there is something I'm really surprised to find this time of the year. I know what that is, but which of you can tell me what that is? It's an extremely valuable plant. Right here is a little teeny redbud tree. That's the leaf of the redbud. It's shaped like a heart. I thought that we had some pawpaw trees on our property, and I just found a few. They're very slow growing. I think it takes like 3 years for them to really grow to any significant size. There's no fruit on these. There's one right up in there. But that's a good source of food. They usually ripen like in early September. Pawpaws, they're kind of oblong shaped, and the inside is very soft when it's ripe, and it's kind of like a custard. It's hard to describe the flavor. It's something like a mix between a mango and a banana. I don't know if mango's accurate, but anyway, that's the pawpaw. It's a better view of the pawpaw. Show you something interesting right here. This is an oak tree, but the way that you tell, besides looking at the wood, but by looking at the leaves, you can tell a red oak from a white oak, because red oaks have these real pointy areas on the tips of their leaves, very sharply pointed. White oaks don't have that. White oaks are more rounded. So if you look at a tree and you're not sure what variety of oak it is, you can tell whether it's a red oak or white oak by looking at that. The reds have those real sharp points on the tips. The white oaks don't have that. I was just thrilled when I saw this just now. I knew that there was some of this right in this area somewhere, but I'm surprised that I found this. This is actually what's called, it's fall now, late summer, early fall. So, you know, they're not like they typically look. They're typically very beautiful, brilliant green. But that is called blue cohosh. The root is very good for female disorders. It's often used in conjunction with black cohosh, but that's blue cohosh right there. There's some more of it right over here. That there. Just kind of give you an idea about peeling the skin off of the nettle. I'll save the leaves for tomorrow. The stinging doesn't really bother me, so I'm just not going to wait for it to wilt. But anyway, wherever there's a joint like that, if you take I got a good chunk of flint here, just take it and kind of tap it a little bit. It'll help it to break loose without sticking at the joint like that. Right there. Then what I usually do is just sort of break the tip. Now there may be a better way, I'm sure there is, but I'm experimenting and this is what works for me. That way you kind of get it started. And you want to get as wide of a piece as possible. And just kind of support it with your finger on the way up, especially over those leaf spots there. And just peel it up. And then I have some, that one broke too soon, but I hang them over, double them over and hang them on a hanger in the house until they dry. They stay supple for, you know, I don't know if forever, but for a long time. I've got some that have been hanging for months, and they're still workable. And so during the winter I'm going to make some, I'd like to make actual rope out of this stuff. I don't know, it'd probably take a ton of stinging nettle, but anyway, that's how I peel it off. And I'm sure there's different methods, but this one works for me, and I've been able to get some pretty long pieces off. So, and there's videos on how to make cordage, so I won't go into that. Time to get busy.